Hi everyone, I'm Dave Byrne.
I'm Andrea Horan, and we are from No More Hotels.
So, No More Hotels is a club concept that myself and Andrea started in Dublin
Ooh,
nearly 2 years
concept no
ago.
less.
Yeah. We started it nearly 2 years ago, and it was a direct response to, I suppose, what was happening in our city at the time, which was the eradication and the knocking down of many of our cultural spaces to make way for profit hotels and student accommodation. And with that came the loss of our dance floor and the loss of our club culture. And for two people who have been very much involved in, the club scene since we were teenagers, we did really feel that our city was dying. So this party was a really good way to reimagine what clubbing should be, in 2020 and going forward, and that it doesn't just need to be, late night dancing. It can be food, it can be art, it can be fashion. So No More Hotels was very much a melting pot of all those things, and it's our little baby and it's growing, and we are very excited to see where it can go from here.
And the reason we made the documentary "Clubbing is Culture" is because of the fact, especially in pandemic times when people were looking for support and we needed to support culture, and clubbing was always overlooked. So we wanted to reinforce the message that clubbing was culture. And we wanted to do it not just within the clubbing community, because people in the clubbing community already buy into the fact that it's culture. They have met people on the dance floor, made connections, uh, responded with theatre works, created artworks, gone on to have bigger jobs, found themselves, found friends, found their family. So we wanted to be able to communicate all that to an audience that wasn't part of the clubbing community, and bring it to a wider audience. So we asked some people who we really respected in terms of who are parts of the community, from club kids to theatre makers to journalists to our Lord Mayor of Dublin, to come on board as part of the documentary, and really just to help us delve into what fundamentally makes clubbing culture, what it creates, what it feels like, and where the possibilities are for it to go. And now the fact that we are part of this amazing programming brings it full circle, and it reaffirms that it isn't just in fact culture, it's art too.
Clubbing is culture because it comes from the people and it creates a creative force that is undeniable.
When people ask the question, is clubbing culture? It kind of has a flat earth kind of vibe to me, because, the earth is round because it just is.
When you go all the way back to, the miners having their heads cracked open and rave culture emerging, or, disco and its intersection with the later LGBT rights movement in the US, or the amount of like DIY grassroots clubbing culture that was happening in Ireland. It's no accident that massive youth-led grassroots political movements emerged from that. Of course it did. People were hanging out and they were talking late at night. Everybody knows that when people are hanging out talking late at night, you start to solve the world.
Clubbing is culture to me because it's just endless. It's unrestricted. There's a future there for me in my head of clubbing is everything. It's not just culture. It's creativity. It's fun. It's mates. It's business as well. So, and community, which is the most important thing. So I think clubbing to me is endless. It's not just culture. So.
I guess everybody doesn't need to understand clubbing. I think that for the people that find it, for the young people that find it, for whoever, that it is enough. And I think that we have to not think about, how do we shut this thing down? It's like, wow, look at this amazing space where young people can go and be united rather than divided. How do we support that? How do we make it safer? How do we acknowledge it?
I suppose it has chiseled my thinking, my politics, you know, discussions around personal freedom and liberty.
I think it's very easy for people to misrepresent clubbing. Even for example, let's say my parents never really went out when they were younger, so when they saw me starting to go to clubs, they were like, oh, you don't need to go, like why are you going, like focus on your studies or whatever. And I was like, this is kind of part of my studies, you know.
To me, it just kind of brought this richness and understanding, and I think that what clubbing offers in the way that other art forms offer is it gives us a sense of understanding ourselves, and that's been really important for me.
Clubbing is culture, and clubbing should be there as part of every city. You look around the world, especially in your European cities, you look at the likes of Germany, in Berlin, you look at the likes of Brussels. I remember going to a club night in Fuse, and it was amazing. So, and the sense of kind of community, the sense of fun, and the sense of being that there is something here to offer as an evening piece rather than just going out drinking is really important.
I think when you're looking at, you know, your own life and your future, or where a country is going, where a society is going, you always want to hope for the best. And there's a weird echo of that, you know, with the act of exploring, you know, a city or a space or a group of people at nighttime through the medium of, you know, dancing and meeting people and hanging out, you know. And just the amount of discussions, like the amount of the way your thinking can change because you have some profound conversation with someone, like in the corner of a club or at a session, or, you know, in a smoking section, that can change the way you think about something. You know, these are contemporary salons in a way, and they are where ideas are exchanged, as well as people like going into themselves and letting loose or being hedonistic. You know, that's very important as well.
The one environment that also celebrates diversity. There's different people from different countries, different spaces, different music tastes, and people just come together to have fun.
The freer, the more liberated, the more progressive a club culture, the freer, more liberated, more progressive a country.